Aha, me boys, we lie there. I heard the rain down in Africa. What was the other one? There is another Toto song.
Rosanna.
99.
99?
I'll be laughing, boys. I was listening to Toto the other day. Just trying to, we're not recording this, are we?
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, enough of
I was
that.
listening to Toto the other day. I was trying to flirt with my wife and try to convince her to have sex with me. But she said, that song makes me randy, so I actually learned it on guitar.
99?
No, Africa.
Africa.
It's really hard, actually. It was not that hard, but
This is B minor, and I remember learning to play Africa out of.
I was trying to learn do.
Do clam. Do clam.
Yeah.
That kind of takes away.
I
from
didn't
the-
get lucky, put it that way.
It takes away from the moment. When you're...
Yeah. Well,
Anyway, we're here
we're
at
back, we're back
having a
now.
little podcast. We're podcasting from the great big studio, Water Street, St. John's, Newfoundland. It's a very snowy evening. We're just going down memory lane here. Some of the great bands that have, and some of the not so great bands, and some of the arseholes that have opened for us over the last 14 years in the music business. What have we got here, Sean?
Well, this is a band called Leahy.
Ah, Leahy.
Another band that springs to mind, probably to my mind, because it was littered with chicks. There was no
Many
less than
girls in
4
Leahy.
beautiful women in that band. Unfortunately, there was also 5 guys, and they were all in
5
a family.
brothers, no less. Terrible, terrible combo.
A 9-piece. And led by Donnell, who's now married to Natalie Playfaster.
Natalie McMaster, yes.
Natalie plays faster, yeah.
Sort of a fiddle a merging of fiddles.
But they were great visually. Like they actually this is one of the bands that actually blew us off the stage, and that hasn't happened a lot. But I think the first gig was not in Barrie, Ontario, but some outdoor festival like North Bay.
Brockville or Belleville. It was one of the B-villes.
And we had no idea. And this family gets up and they all do this singing stuff, and then they do their fiddle tune, and then they all dance together.
There's some
Like
dancing. 5
like-
beautiful girls dancing. What's?
Lord of the Dance type routine
Yeah, it
as
was
well.
hard to follow that actually. They were beautiful then too.
But they're still
Not that they're not beautiful now. I haven't seen them in many, many years.
Donnell was quite attractive as well. Wasn't he?
I don't remember to know.
He was working on the Rogaine.
There
at
were
the
some
time.
guys. There were some guys in the band.
There were some guys. Yeah, I remember being in a bar after some gig, and of course we were doing our best to keep the girls out. And,
Indeed, no, he didn't like that at all.
and no, Donnell was getting more and more. And at one point he mentioned like he was best friends with Ty Domi, and that we should think better of pissing him off.
Did he really say that?
Well, he said, "I'm friends with Ty Domi, man. Like I'm friends with him. Like, you know what I'm saying, man? Ty Domi." Know what I'm saying? So, girls, let's go. And the girls like, one more drink. Shot of tequila, blah, 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 blah. We were singing songs to him, singing old romantic songs.
Indeed. Yeah, I remember that.
I don't know if there's any,
I don't think there's any singing.
songs, yeah.
No, there was some fiddle though.
This is all tunes. But there was a songwriter in the band. Here's the feet. This is actual feet,
Then there was feet. They had beautiful feet too.
which also led to the bouncy
Indeed.
of the upper half.
It's
So
feet
that's
and then
actually 8 things bouncing, while 8
Did they
feet
play
tap.
music or what? I don't know. What was going on up there anyway?
No, fell in love with all of them. Anyway, Leahy, if you're out there, if you actually tune into the Great Big Podcast, I'd love to see you again at some point. Now we're going to move on. This one was bad, in the best kind of a way.
She was bad.
Ivana Santilli, one of the most beautiful women in Canadian music ever. This is an album called Brown. She's married to a guy named John Stamos, which is not the guy from Full House.
Not that guy.
Not that guy.
Not that guy. Okay.
But she also, I've been following her career. She started with a band called Bass is Bass.
Stocking. We call it.
Stocking, probably. She played with a band called Bass is Bass for a while with Chin Lee, I think his name was, who played bass. Real nice guy. We ran into him at one of the Much Music Video Awards when we actually got videos on Much Music and stuff like
I
that.
remember that. Yeah.
It's a long time
Yeah,
ago.
that was a long time ago.
She opened up for us at the Phoenix Club solos. She just left Bass of Bass, or the band had stopped or whatever. We played the Phoenix Club.
Yep.
And I remember watching from the side, she's just beautiful, like Latino, gorgeous, great singer. And in the middle of the set, she picks up a trumpet and starts noodling on that. And I just pretty much had to leave, had to go and be alone for a few
In a
minutes.
moment, I understand.
And it was funny because every time,
Fought the trumpet
ever
myself.
since then, when I come up like, who's your going to be opening act? I always say, Ivana Santilli? Ivana Santilli?
Rarely has that conversation happened without Sean mentioning Ivana Santilli.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, and to be honest, like, there was lots of acts that were my second choice, for sure. And she's still my first choice. If we ever have an opening act ever again, I would still ask her to do it. Open up for us.
It's safe to say, too, this kind of urban disco went over like a lead balloon with our audience, too. I mean,
I don't know, man. The guys were mesmerized. I certainly was.
that girls hated her.
But again, like, this is kind of music, though. I love listening to this when I'm drinking martinis and stuff. You know, it can't be all pints and red wine. It's,
No,
you know,
not
every
again.
now and then you gotta have a scattered Cosmo and get
Indeed.
your funk on, you know,
Indeed,
the groove
yeah.
on.
I know what you're saying.
I'm actually trying to learn some of these songs to try and impress my wife as well, to try and lure her into
How do
bed.
they work in acoustic guitar? Is that,
They don't work very well at all.
no, I wouldn't think so.
No. Again, Ivana Santilli's debut solo album called Brown.
The title is terrible. It's a terrible title.
I don't know what.
That might be the problem.
I remember being. I went to see her one night in Saskatoon at Louis' Pub. She was playing there, and we were on tour there. And who's the fiddle player? I'm a giant singer, fiddler. Melanie Doan. Melanie Doan. She was the opening act, but was against my better. I didn't want her to be the opening act, to be honest.
Oh, I remember
so,
that. Yeah.
So I made it a point to go and visit Yvonne and say, I'm really sorry. So I got pretty drunk talking to her, and she sent me home in a cab. I tried, though. I tried my best. Anyway.
I didn't know
Okay,
about
put this
that.
in the list of sexy women I will never have sex with. But that
That's really funny. I
never
know.
had a chance, but tried my hardest. Now this guy is not sexy at all. He's a chieftain, this guy. And he qualifies for this particular podcast because he actually opened up for us on his own in Scotland, in Glasgow for the Celtic.
Glasgow, and he didn't even show up with a guitar player. He just showed up by himself with a Bowron and
Yeah.
opened up at the. It's not the Celtic Colours, the Celtic Connections
Celtic Connection, yeah.
in Glasgow, and played a set by himself, which is by any standard nervy.
Kevin Kniff is the Boron player for the Chieftains.
Here I am amongst ye, and I am here because I'm here. I'm only 1 year older than I was this time last year.
I think we did dueling Borons for this.
We played the song. He played the song with his sons on the stage.
Strangely enough about him, he was the only chieftain not present at the video shoot for Lukey's boat.
You're correct, sir.
He had to go to a wedding. That's a great little tune, though.
Yeah, I forgot about this, man. I forgot all until I heard this. I forgot about him playing with us in Glasgow.
It all came back, right?
I remember standing next to him and no sound check or anything, and the Bowron howled with feedback. Like it almost blew my head off. It was so loud. And he didn't even notice it. He just kept right on going. I guess he was so used to feedback and Bowron's taking off on him. He's just immune to it after 20 years. It almost castrated me. It was so loud.
Those were great times, though, the Celtic
Yeah,
Connections.
with the festival, man.
Lots of fiddle players there. Lots of good fun. Lots of late nights with lots of pints and some whiskey as well.
That was a guy threatened me there at that same night. A guy threatened me in the bar later on.
Yeah, because I think you were ogling his fiddle player wife or something.
No, I was standing at the bar and he came up and accused me of bearing some responsibility for Canadian Aboriginal policy. Even though neither he nor I was an Aboriginal.
What the heck?
Yeah, he's like, oh, you haven't treated your Indians very well, punk.
Well, that in itself would be a wrong term anyway. Like,
I know, but I mean, come on, like, you're just... Like, as if I had some responsibility in even the most smallest sense other than being a citizen. And he's poking me and trying to get a fight on the go, and I'm like, man, like, there's things I'd scrap you about, but Aboriginal policy is not one of them. Like, we're not having a fight about this. Like, piss off. He was livid.
I don't remember having any conversations like that at all. You must
Man,
have
that
just
one
got the
stands
lucky
out.
one.
That was so bizarre, it stands out. And later on, we got to play with Kevin Knapp.
Same evening, a different planet.
Sang a song about I'm here, I'm here.
This track here is John Barber. His version of John Barber.
The
Child ballad that we recorded
Willie
for...
Winsbury, is it?
Yeah. Same thing. Child ballad 100. Willie
Kevin-
Winsbury.
Kevin has a unique control over the top of his range of his voice.
Yeah, we never... this sounds nothing like our version.
You got any seasickness, he said, or been deceived by
He's a great little singer, man.
young man.
Oh, there's one here called Gathering Mushrooms. I got
It's a great song. You got to play that one, man. That's my favorite of that whole album, actually. I don't have this record anymore. I had it at one point in time, and in fact, I know what happened to it. I left it on Seven Nations bus at the tail end of a big
Those
booze up.
bastards.
Scotty
there's a
Long,
band
off
playing with
my
him
Kevin
here.
Knapp record.
This is Gathering Mushrooms, also known as Iro of Doubt, which is a child ballad as well, right?
Out of bed across the fields I stare at all. When no one
It's very Planksty, isn't it, Bob?
with a sigh, well, a
The
pretty
song
should
is
do a-
also on the Chieftains Celebration album.
I think we should do a podcast of bands that like influence Great Big Sea, and I've tried to collect. I've gone through.
That's a
like,
good idea.
Gone through my entire collection, and I have a pile of them set aside for that, so we can continue
look
on
forward to
our
that. I look forward to
podcasting
that.
mandate. And if we're boring you out there, please stop us. We'll stop at any time. We are enjoying this. Actually, we probably won't stop. We'll just won't podcast. We'll just we'll talk amongst ourselves.
A rambling late night conversation.
Rambling lately. It's pretty much what we do at my house anyway.
I've seen you on the dewy grass before the sower fairly old.
This one's one of my favorites, actually. His name is Tarek. I don't know if he has a last name, but remember back at the podcast we talked about the silver tongue devils. The plaid tongue devils.
Plaid Tongue Devils.
I think he might have had something to do with that record, because there was a Tarek with no last name on that record as well. And he's from Calgary. He was friends with Murray Foster.
I didn't know that.
He toured with Moxie Fruvis. Yeah. I knew that, and he had like a hit. This is not the hit. This is a song called Chevrolet Way. The record is called Tarek, the Basement Songs. And if you like sincere, sensitive wuss pop, he's your guy. Oh, he's great.
I heard Tarek recently, man, on a CBC show. That one, I don't know, some Toronto, like all the CBC shows, but some Toronto beat wankery. But he was, it's like a singer-songwriter thing, but he's still out there, man. He's still plugging away. Yeah, for us, that was like a decade ago, man. It was like 96, 97.
Last time I saw Tarek, we were shooting one of the most embarrassing videos of our life, which we didn't use after for the first video for Consequence
Oh, it
Free.
was so bad, we'd abandoned it.
And he was walking down the street, and he didn't look anything like himself because he was a fairly small guy. He actually whispered what he sang, and he was a guy that suffered through like the Great Big Sea. We were doing stadiums,
Yeah, he had a rough
and he
time,
was
man.
whispering, right? And I remember after, like, there were several sessions, and he's like, we'd be in a room with 50 people, and we'd be bawling over with our acoustic bass guitar, like we're having a song session. There's 20 people involved, and Maury LaFoy was his bass player. Super bass man.
Yeah, Murray was in that band. Maury, sorry.
Maury, yeah. And he had trouble like singing over the crowd.
Yeah, he had trouble. He had monitor issues.
And the last time I saw him was at that video shoot, and I was very embarrassed to see him because we didn't use it. It was terrible. But he was all cut up. He'd moved to Toronto, and he's now like a hired gun songwriter. In fact,
Steroid guy. He's been steroids after.
he was just super fit, man. He was just a monster.
No, man, steroids. It's definitely.
This was the hit, I think.
The hit was "I'm a Waiter."
Not just a waiter. Yeah,
Just a waiter. It was a song about a waiter. Remember that?
this was my favorite song. This whole record is great, man. Song-wise.
I didn't get Tarek. I liked him a lot personally, but I have to say I wasn't a fan.
Did you not like this record?
No, I didn't know.
Bob. Anyway, Tarek, if you're out there, some great songs. Send us
Good luck, man. Good luck.
And you're right one about pints of Guinness and loose women. This opening act is and they've opened up for us probably half dozen or more times now. This opening act has consistently blown us off the stage, and they don't even speak English.
Like you off stage, you mean?
No, us. Like,
Us.
nothing left but our underwear on, like blown our pants off.
Ah, you were talking about the
La Bottine Souriant.
original lineup of the Bottine.
I think the first embarrassing episode was in Calgary Folk Festival, where they went in front of we thought nothing of it, but because they were francophone and sang in French, and they literally
Grievous error on our part.
slayed the place in front of us. Fantastic. This is an album called On Spectacle. Probably their,
It's in concert for the monolingual here.
it's live. This is a live recording. This is their New Year's Eve gig in like Club Soda somewhere in Montreal. Great guys.
Well, this was the original lineup. This had Yves
Well, not
Lambert.
the original. The band's like 30 years old. This is the
No, well, this was the best lineup, well, shall we say. This was the lineup with Yves Lambert as lead singer and Michel Bordelot playing
Michel
mandolin,
Bordelot, Martin Racine,
playing
Denis
feet.
Fréchette, Jean Fréchette, Réjean. Oh, Réjean. Remember Réjean, the bass player?
Many of these people have subsequently left the band.
Yeah. Jocelyn. Still
Jocelyn
there.
is still there, and
André is still there.
André Brunet is still there, and Denis Fréchette is still there.
André Véro is still there too.
Yves Lambert and Michel Bordelot are both gone.
If you ever want to see an amazing band, like these guys are, I guess, a mixture of like jazz and Quebecois traditional tunes, right? So it's like New Orleans meets rural Quebec.
Their instrumentation is very Irish too. There's like they're inspired by this guy Jean Carnier, who was a francophone fiddler who played in a very Irish style, and it's the mix of the three sort of traditions: that Montreal Irish, hardcore, chicoutimi, backwoods, Quebecois folk music, and this all the jazz, amazing jazz arrangements that the Fréchette brothers brought to the table.
Michel Bordelot, you can hear this tappity tap. That's Michel Bordelot sat down, playing the fiddle or mandolin and tapping his feet. Insane.
They do that for an hour and a half too. That was the backbeat of the band.
You know, we need a horn section, man. I mean, how do you compete with this? This is powerful.
Can't.
They'll start singing now in a second. What the hell are they saying?
I'll tell you the best
Translate
song.
that. That's French chin music, right?
Yes, it is. It's
This
just
is like our faldy raldy doddly doll. Diddly diddly. Unbelievable band. And we ran into them in Denmark. Actually, I had a great night with them in Denmark. They took me back to their hotel, which was in Tuna. And we started talking, and he refused to speak English, so I spoke more French. He's also like a politically he was a separatist, right? A Quebec nationalist. And he was kind of down on Newfoundland, and I'm like, well, what is your problem, Yves? You know? And Jean Fréchette was trying to like give him a break. He's a bad musician. He doesn't care. I'm like, what is it? What's your problem with Newfoundlanders? And he's, you Newfoundlanders, you really screw us up, you know? And I'm like, what? You know, what are you talking about? He said, Meech Lake. And of course he was right, because as we recall historically, Clyde Wells voted against Meech Lake and shut it down, and that led to a national referendum.
Definitely caused a bit of a crisis in.
Oh yeah, almost broke up the country, and he blamed that squarely on the shoulders of Clyde Wells. And he's whatever. I can't remember.
Not unreasonably, no.
You know, I don't know. If I was Clyde Wells, I would try to get along with Yves. You know, I mean, he's a big guy. But anyway, I said,
He was a sweetheart.
I said, Yves, man, you know, listen, man, like, it's not, hey, you guys, you guys screwed us too, right? You really got us, man. He said, what? We did nothing to the Newfoundlanders. I said, Churchill Falls, dude. Churchill Falls. He goes, that was a good one. We f***ed you there. We got along smashingly after that. It's like 2.4 billion a year they make that. The boys were very genuinely very friendly to us, and always had great times. And there must have been so many gigs we dumped them, like probably 10.
They never cease to be Live, I've never seen anything better. When they were on, they were on.
I think it's safe to say that within Quebec, they are the Great Big Sea of Quebec, right?
I don't know. I mean, when Yves and Michel left, the band changed a lot because Andre and the Frechette brothers sort of had a different vibe. And Yves Lambert was he had a big voice. He was a big man, you know. He was well over 6 feet tall, a heavy guy. And Michel Bordelot's mandolin and feet and fiddle, like that combination of guys, you know, that was the sound of the band. And when they left it's still successful and they still tour, but it hasn't been the same since.
Well, if you're out there, Jean, Michel, Yves, the rest of you, we'll see you in Montreal, I guess, next time. That's because that's where some of them live. The horn section lives in Montreal, like all Saints from the horn sections would. Check them out, guys.
That was the horn section.
On Spectac. La Boitine Souriant.